Okay, bro, one thing I realized is that girls are just naturally straight up nasty, bro. Like, it's so weird what girls do nowadays. But what my crush did in this moment, I'm not gonna lie, made me think about not even being interested in women anymore. And no, I don't mean turning gay. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy but also extremely weird story. Now, this story all takes place back in my grade 11 year. Now, in grade 11, I was a major player. You guys would probably know that from watching the channel. But aside from being a major player, one thing about me that was true was that I was a helpless romantic, meaning that I still believed in happily ever afters and, you know, all the gooey, mushy stuff you would see in like a Disney movie. But I remember one time specifically, I was walking down the school hallway with me and some of my homies. We were just getting out of class, and I remember I ended up seeing the one girl in my school hallway that I actually really liked. There was a girl in our school that had blonde hair, blue eyes, and she was phenomenal. Like, she looked amazing, and a lot of guys were actually into her. But one thing about this girl that was really interesting, and I think the main reason why so many people were into her, was because there was some sort of mystery with this girl. What do I mean by that? Well, this girl was very odd in a sense where not a lot of people fully understood a lot about her, meaning that she was basically a mystery. She wouldn't talk about herself that much. She wouldn't talk about, you know, who she was hanging out with, who her friend group really was. She was always low-key to herself, which, I mean, I don't mind. Like, a lot of girls, I think, do this, and even a lot of guys especially. But me wanting to know this girl more and be interested in her, I remember my buddy ends up coming up to me and holding me on the shoulder saying, "Yo, Bubba, you keep looking at her, bro. Why don't you just, like, go up to her and talk to her?" I don't know. Do you think I can do that? Do you think I got Riz? What? Bro, of course you have Riz. You know how many girls you pulled? Go up to her. Talk to her, man. So that moment, I'm like, okay, might as well try it out. And I ended up walking up to her. When I walked up to her, I went up to her and said, "Hey, like, how you doing?" "Oh, hey, Bubba. What are you doing here?" "Oh, so, like, you know, I just wanted to, like, you know, talk. It's, you know, we go to the same school and we barely talk together. So I thought maybe it'd be cool to, like, you know, communicate and see what's up." "Oh, okay. That's kind of a weird way of putting it. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just finishing class and stuff." "Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So, what's your number?" At that moment, instantly, this girl just gives me her number, which I don't know how that worked, to be honest. I barely spoke any Riz other than me saying that we went to the same school, but somehow it did work. I never expected it to be this easy, but later on in the story, you'll understand why. Because I remember afterwards, when everything was done and over, and me and this girl finished our conversation, I ended up basically shooting her a text as I was walking away saying, "Yo, this is Bubba's number, and also I'm super excited that we can hang out sometime." I remember she instantly just like looks at me and looks at her phone, and she smiles and walks away. And at this moment, I knew I was in. At that moment, I walked back with the boys, and me and all the boys started talking about, like, you know, how I just pulled a girl and everything. You know, basic excitement from the boys after something cool happens. And this is where everything gets bizarre. Because I remember as we're all sitting down in the cafeteria eating lunch, a guy ends up walking up to me. He walks up to me and says, "Yo, bro, is it true you just asked out that girl?" He ends up pointing towards the girl that I just asked out. And I said, yeah, why?" "Well, bro, don't you know, like, she has a boyfriend already?" "Wait, what? Are you her boyfriend?" "Oh, no, I'm not her boyfriend, but like I've seen her, like, go on so many dates, and at this point, there was this one guy she keeps going on date with, and, like, bro, I think she's dating someone." No, I didn't believe this was true, and to be honest, like, why would she cheat? Like, that doesn't seem like her, but at the same time, this girl was a total mystery. Remember, I said that. She was a total mystery. But me hoping with my gut, and I guess the helpless romantic side of me was like, nah, bro, like, there's no way she's dating someone. I think you're just out of it. And I ended up not trusting him. Now, guys in school, fair warning, if a guy gives you a warning about a girl, please actually listen to it and take it and figure it out, okay? Because most of the time, guys have no reason to lie unless they're going for the girl themselves, which I guess in this case, I kind of thought as well, but I don't know. I didn't want to make things too awkward. Going on from there, I remember that day I ended up going into the school parking lot after school ended, and I ended up getting inside my car. And when I got inside my car, I was about to drive and leave until I ended up seeing the girl that I asked out walk up right in front of my vehicle as I'm pulling out. And she ends up standing in front of it saying, "Bubba, wait, you drive?" Yeah, this is my car." "Oh my goodness, that's so cool. Like, that's actually really awesome." "Yeah, thanks. So, I was just wondering, what's up? What are you doing?" "Oh, well, like, my ride ditched me and, like, I have no way to get home." And at this moment, if a girl says that her ride ditches her and you're already in a car about to drive, you might as well bring her inside with you. So I ended up saying, "Okay, yeah, just get in. I'll drive you to wherever you need to go." "Okay, cool. Awesome." And at that moment, she ends up getting inside my car, and instead of putting her address to go home, like, you know, most kids would do after school, she ends up putting an address to a steakhouse that she was going to. I ended up asking her, "Oh, you're going to dinner?" "Oh, well, no, it's a family thing. Like, don't worry about it." Okay, if you say so." And I ended up driving her to her family dinner, or so I thought. I remember when I dropped her off, I ended up basically driving driving away. But as I was driving away, I ended up looking out my window and I saw that she was hanging out with another guy that she was hugging and holding. At this moment, I was really weirded out, but who am I to really question this, to be honest? Like, at this moment, I really didn't want to believe that this girl was a menace, making me drive her to her next date. So I ended up pretending it was like her brother or something, and I ended up implanting that into my mind. But what happens next really messed me up, because I remember after that day, the next day, I ended up messaging her before I went to school and said, yo, after school, you down to like go get dinner or something? I really can't, but do you want to meet up at your place maybe after? Oh, yeah, we can go back to my place. I won't say no to that. And at that moment, I was really excited because there was no possible way that this girl didn't want to come over to my place and do the Devil's Tango. And I remember from there, I was super excited throughout the whole school day, even getting bricked up at some times, which don't get me wrong, it sounds super weird. So just like, you know, pretend I didn't say that. YouTube, if you're watching this, I meant that in a normal way. But going on, and when after school finally came around, I ended up driving home as fast as I could and cleaning up my room. I remember when I got home, I ended up cleaning my room, I ended up making my bed, and I also turned on a candle just to make sure the room smelled nice for when she came over so we could do the Devil's Tango. And from there, I remember after hours went by and once dinner was finally over with me and my family, I ended up telling my parents that I was having a friend over for a school project. Obviously, my parents didn't believe me, but at the same time, you know, they were being supportive parents no matter what. And that's when I ended up doing the most insane thing ever, where I ended up going downstairs to my room and I texted the girl saying, yo, are you coming over? Oh yeah, I'll be there in literally like 2 minutes. My dad's driving me. Oh, okay. Are you really with your dad? Well, do you want me to be honest or no? Yeah, I would prefer you be honest, obviously, is what I texted her. And she ends up telling me the most diabolical thing ever, where she says, well, if I want to be honest, I'm on a date with this guy and he really sucks and he's super annoying and just keeps talking about his car. But if I'm being honest with you, I'd rather see you at your place, so I'm gonna make him drive me to yours. Bro, what? At this moment, I was like mind blown because she was on a date already. And instead of ending the date off with him, she's coming to my place to do the Devil's Tango. Like, what? At this moment, I started to realize and understand why this girl wanted to be like mysterious and stuff. But going on with the story, I remember waiting like 20 minutes later and she ended up finally coming over. She knocked on my door and when I went to go answer it, I ended up seeing that the guy was literally at my doorstep and she looks over at me saying, oh, hey, Baba, this is my little brother. He's just gonna let me inside now. You can go home. Oh, okay, baby, if you say so. And at that moment, I'm just standing there super awkward because she just introduced me as her little brother. And that's when this guy ends up looking at me super awkwardly. And instead of going for a kiss, he ended up turning around and leaving her alone. And that's when this girl ends up entering inside my place, closing the door on him. And me and this girl, we ended up going straight to my bedroom. We didn't even get to say hi to my parents, which was actually really rude. And once we got inside my bedroom, she ends up cuddling me on the bed. And yeah, we just did the Devil's Tango right away. Now, this is the part of the story that really just, I guess, really twisted me up and made my mind feel really weird. Because I remember after the Devil's Tango, me and this girl, we were laying down in bed cuddling. And my parents were asleep at this time because it was already super late. And I remember looking at this girl saying, yo, so like, how is it so easy for you to like, you know, ditch a guy that you're on a date with and just go see another guy? Oh, well, I don't know. I do it so often. And like, guys always offer rides. So it's kind of like a win-win. Okay, but like, why was this guy so annoying? I don't know. He kept asking too many questions, so I'd rather just hang out with you. Okay, cool, I guess. I don't know. When she said that, it gave me like some sick feeling in my stomach that I was not okay with. If anything, I didn't understand why this girl was such a menace. Like, I understand I'm a player and stuff, but a girl being a player, well, it just doesn't feel right to me. But at the same time, I can't say anything mean about it because I probably have done worse if I'm being honest with you. And you guys will hear a lot about that on this channel. But if you guys do want to see more of this, then make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.